Welcome to Smack's Garage. Today we're going to go through the progress that we made on the restoration of the 1969 Mustang Mach 1. Yeah, if you've been following along for the past few weeks, we put together a list of projects that we were going to do, and we've been making progress to this vehicle. So today we're going to check in on exactly where we are against that list that we pulled together. On that list we focused on three different areas. We focused on the engine, we focused on the interior of the car, and the exterior of the car. For the interior of the car, our goal was to get everything a lot more sorted, which this included fixing some of the lighting in the vehicle. It included looking at the steering wheel, getting that replaced. It included taking the dash out, doing a lot of the wiring and electronics again. What we've done so far is we have taken the dash apart and fixed all the wiring so nothing is hanging below. This made a much better experience when I'm driving the vehicle. While I'm driving it, there aren't wires getting in the way of our feet, of myself, of the passenger, so it's made it significantly better. One of the other big things that I noticed is by fixing the wiring in the vehicle, and making sure everything is zip tied and in place correctly, it's rattling a lot less. When I hit bumps or when the car is bucking a little bit, I don't actually hear all the wiring and everything back here rattling against the metal dash. So it's made a significant improvement in the overall feel and quality of the car. If you remember before, the wiring of the central gauges, the oil pressure and the water temperature, the wires were hanging out below the dash, and that's what was getting in the way. They were down here. By that not being in the way anymore, it's made a significant improvement. Now let's talk about the exterior of the car. The first thing that I did when I did the exterior was I lowered the car in the front. So I put in 1-inch lowering springs that were a little bit higher of a rate than I had before, and where I ended up is exactly where I was before. It didn't make any difference, probably because I have aluminum heads in it. So even though that project, we did do it, it needs to be redone by cutting some coil springs. So that's on the list of the next few months. One of the biggest differences and one of the biggest changes that I saw in the car is when we actually did the striping of the vehicle. The Mach 1 graphics go all the way around the vehicle, all the way from this side to the back, around the other side, and it came out phenomenal. I'm really happy with the way that they ended up looking, and they look great in the daylight, they're reflective at night, so it makes the car really stand out, and it was a significant upgrade from just having it be the black jade that it is. I was a little worried because I really do like the color of the car, and I think it looked really good just as black jade. But when I added the correct stripes to the car, it looked significantly better. So really happy with the way that these turned out. Now let's go ahead and talk about what we did in the engine bay. In the engine bay, we spent some time getting the ignition right. So we got the ignition timing set back up at around 14 degrees initial, 35 overall advanced, and I'm seeing great performance from where it is. So for the next project, we ended up fixing the electric choke and getting it set up correctly so that now the choke comes on at the right time in the fall. Here up in New England, we have weather that changes really quickly. So the choke is now set up better for the fall. It was coming on really quickly in the summer, and that was fine. In the fall, with a little bit colder weather, we need to have it stay on a little bit longer so that it didn't stall out, and it's worked well so far for me. Well, that's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can follow along as we finish the restoration of the 1969 Mustang.